welcome to episode 173 of Debating Metal. I'm Kenneth Dean, the Dean of Metal, and my illustrious co-host is Chris K. Tonight we're going to do something we have yet to do on the show, and that's repeat an episode, but make it better. A redo, a remaster, if you will. Tonight, it's Megadeth's greatest hits.
Way back in the dreaded year of 2020, our first year recording, we released episode 39, which was the first greatest hits episode. It's a format you guys enjoy, but the first few episodes did not follow the format we came to use over time. So at the suggestion of one of our listeners, 134 episodes later, we are redoing that episode in the current format. Will our choices be the same? I don't know. I didn't listen to the old version. Stick around and listen to episode 39 and see how much changes.
So with that said, sit back, relax, turn it up to 11, and let the debate begin. Okay, so a few weeks ago, we received a DM from one of our listeners in the Detroit area named Darius. And yes, I was being very emphatic with Detroit. He told us he listened to episode 39, Megadeth's Greatest Hits, and it was completely different from the way we do things. We didn't even have the same format. I listened to a little bit of it a couple of weeks ago when I first got the email and I first read it. And you and I were giving our order in which we were deciding our 15 greatest hits. And so I did mine in concert set list order, the way I wanted to hear it, if I was going to see Megadeth in concert. And that ended up becoming a few episodes later, the format that we kind of ended up talking about, or finalizing how we were going to do it. It was kind of weird because that's not what we did, but that's what we ended up gravitating to. So that's what you and I debate with the different rounds. And we'll explain that to everyone once we get there. The different rounds that we do to choose songs to get into the final concert set list order that we do.
I have no recollection of it, so I really don't know. The only thing I could remember was me putting a song that I just know was not going to make it this time, and us kind of going back and forth about it, and I left it off. So that's the only thing I remember about doing this episode.
Well, and the funny thing is, I was reading the transcript when I wasn't really listening to it. I was reading the transcript because I had gotten to some place and I decided to read it because I didn't have time to actually listen to it. Which is weird because it's the same type of thing. I just took a few minutes to look at it without having to pull it up on, I had shut off my car. That's what it was. I didn't want to turn it back on because I was getting ready to leave. Anyway, regardless. So what the format has turned into, for our new listeners out there, if there are any, and for some of the listeners who haven't really been exposed to a greatest hits episode in over a year, it's been since January of last year that we had done a greatest hits episode, and that was Testament's greatest hits.
Wow.
Yeah, it was episode 154, Testament, and this is the first one since then, so it's over a year. The format is that Chris and I will have chosen 15 songs each, and we're going to go ahead and express those 15 songs. Any songs that's duplicated will automatically make the final list, and the ones that are not, we will then debate to see which ones will make it in. And the debate goes as follows. It's not really even a debate. We will choose one song from our list, and we get to keep that. And then the next round, we choose one song from our list that we want to, that we are willing to give up. Then in round 3, we're going to pick a song from the others list and keep it. And then round 4, we're going to choose a song from the others list and we're going to remove it, and so forth until we get to filling all the little spots. And then we usually get down to the last one. And the last one is one where it's kind of like, all right, we have 3 songs left in one spot. What are we going to do? So that's usually about the case. Sometimes I think it's happened only one time before where that was not the case. So anyway, so why don't you go ahead and talk about what your 15, or actually this time we're going to do 20 greatest hits of Megadeth.
All right. Um, so I'm just gonna go in chronological order, and forgive me if I get anything out of order because there's a couple kind of like special tracks, and they're not specifically from albums. Um, I've got Mechanics from Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. Hold on.
I'm going to leave it on there.
All right. It was coming. Like I felt it for like the last couple minutes, and it finally, popped out of there. All right. Wake Up Dead from Peace Cells, but who's buying? Peace Cells and Devil's Island from Peace Cells as well. I've got In My Darkest Hour from So Far So Good So What. Holy Wars, The Punishment Due, Hangar 18, and Tornado of Souls from Rust in Peace. Skin of My Teeth and Sweating Bullets from Countdown to Extinction. Angry Again from Last Action Hero soundtrack. Addicted to Chaos from Euthanasia. Kill the King from Capital Punishment, The Megadeth Years. Dread and The Fugitive Mind from The World Needs a Hero. Sleepwalker and Washington is Next from United Abominations. This Day We Fight from Endgame. The Threat is Real and Dystopia from Dystopia. And We'll Be Back from The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead.
Wow. Okay. Started off pretty good. Then I lost track somewhere along the way. But anyhow, so I'm going to do my list now, and then we'll see which ones cross over and go from there. Okay. So my list is number one, and this kind of be in somewhat chronological order because I believe there are a few songs in there that I kind of jumped around. All right. Number one, Mechanics from Killing Is My Business. Number two, Wake Up Dead. And number three, Peace Cells from Peace Cells, but who's buying? Number four, Hook and Mouth. Number five, Holy Wars, The Punishment Due. Number six, Hangar 18. Number seven, Skin of My Teeth. Number eight, Symphony of Destruction. Number nine, Foreclosure of a Dream, all from Countdown to Extinction. Number 10, Tout Le Monde. Number 11, 99 Ways to Die. Number 12, Kill the King. Number 13, Moto Psycho. Number 14, 1000 Times Goodbye. Both of those off of The World Needs a Hero. Number 15, Kick the Chair. Number 16, Head Crusher. Number 17, Public Enemy Number 1. Number 18, The Threat is Real. And number 19, Fatal Illusion. Both of those are Fatal Illusion. Both of those off of Dystopia. And number 20, We'll Be Back. So we do have a little bit of crossover, but not a lot.
Yeah, you have a couple songs that I toyed with putting on my list, so I guess we'll just have to see what we pick. But yeah, we've picked definitely a few from the same albums, just different tracks.
Yes, that there were definitely some songs that were from the same albums, but we did not have the same tracks we chose. So that's going to make an interesting fight. And considering we have 9 duplicated tracks, which means that we need to fill 11 spots. Now we chose to do 20 for Megadeth. One, because from the last time we did it to now, they added one album. And that's not significant enough to sit there and say, oh, okay, we're going to add 5 more songs to the greatest hits. But it was also a matter of when we did the first one, we came out with that roundabout number of 15, which is a typical concert. You think about a band like Megadeth, it has a lot of albums.
Yeah.
Or in the flip side, you have a band like even Iron Maiden has a lot of albums, but lately all their songs are really long. But someone like Metallica, all their songs or a majority of their songs are very long. So if we're doing 20 songs, holy shit, there's gonna be a lot of songs, but they're all long. It's just a really weird dichotomy for all those for doing 20 songs, but there's just a lot of good ones. We did 20 for Judas Priest and stuff like that, but others we did 30 for Motorhead.
Well, we did two different episodes because they have such a varied career. Like that first half is so different than the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. So now for those who have not heard one of these episodes or haven't heard it in a long time, we're now going to do what I mentioned before, which is basically going to go through rounds, and we're going to sit there and say, we're going to pick from our list a song we want to keep. Then we're going to go to a song we're willing to give up. Then we're going to go to the other person's list, pick a song we want to keep, and then go to the other person's list on the fourth round, take one off, and then so forth. So on and so forth from there until we fill the 11 spots. After the 11 spots have been filled and we come to our final 20, then we're going to go ahead and put them in concert set list orders the way we want to think. We want to hear it in concert. And that should be fun too, because there's a portion of it that is the encore. All right. So you went first with announcing your list. So I'm going to go first in picking a song I want to keep. And it's interesting because there are several albums, especially in the latter career, that we did not pick the same song from an album. So we had the same, obviously all the albums are represented, but we are completely
are all the
opposite.
albums represented?
I think so.
And
I don't know.
It's pretty close. Let's see.
Oh,
Risk is not.
Oh no, Risk is not.
Super Collider is not.
Super Collider is not. That's true. So I misspoke.
Which I think, if I go back to the first episode, and I'm gonna listen to it to find out, I think I picked a song off of both of those albums.
So, well, anyway, I mean, look, we listen, we like what we like, we listen to what we want to listen to. We don't listen to stuff just because someone said, "Oh, hey, by the way." It's a suggestion. We'll listen to it one time maybe, and after that, never again.
Yeah, I'm a lot of my friends over the years have been mad because I'm almost defiantly like just listen to what I want to listen to. I it makes it difficult sometimes, like with people, because you want to talk about something. You're like, man, I just listened to this album from 1990. You want to talk about it? So
well, and the funny thing is about all that is that, like, lately I've gotten into that. I don't want to call it a rut. It's not a groove, because I look at groove as a positive thing and rut as a negative thing. So I'm somewhere in the middle. I feel like my musical selections have been pretty stagnant. I have added songs to my playlist, and I have this giant playlist. So I shuffle it. So, sometimes a song will pop up that I hadn't heard in a while. Sometimes a song will pop up that I just put on. But then most of the time, I'm listening to stuff that's older. Just recently, who released a new song? Oh, Disturbed. That new song by Disturbed, in my opinion, very, very similar to some of the old stuff. I don't think you're going to like it as much as I like it. However,
yeah.
I think it's a pretty good song. Because I know you don't like a lot of the older stuff from Disturbed. But I was like, oh, this is really cool. They actually have a guitar solo in it. And they've had guitar solos on the recent albums, but to have something sound like early Disturbed and still have a guitar solo on it was pretty cool. But I haven't heard it pop up yet,
The thing is, like, I'm reaching a point where there is some nostalgia factor to some of the music that was popular when I was younger. So, Disturbed, even like bands like Creed that we've talked about. Like, I really never liked Creed. It wasn't like a hate thing per se, but like I just never really liked him, right? And I did have an issue with him because it was one of those bands that my sister just would not stop listening to all the time. And being at a different age and a different mentality, yeah, that has a factor. But it's gotten to the point where bands like Disturbed and Drowning Pool and Creed and all those, there is like a certain nostalgia aspect to it where I I might not change the song if it came on, but I'm probably not also going to go out and look for them to listen to. Because I do tend to listen to heavier stuff. It just depends on my mood. So, yeah.
All right. So, um, picking a song off of my list that I want to keep based on the songs that are left. Hmm. You know what? I really, really like this song compared to all the other songs on here. I really like this song. There's like two songs I really like. This is one of them. Fatal Illusion from Dystopia.
Mm, okay. Well, I'm picking what I want to pick, so I'm picking Dystopia from Dystopia.
Jesus.
I mean, something else is getting knocked off. I think Dystopia is the best song on that album, to be honest. It for me it's the holy wars of Rust in Peace, you know.
The song Dystopia?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, by far. Yeah.
Wow. That's an opinion I was not expecting to hear. Not that I like the song, but to sit there and say that's the holy wars of that album, wow, that's breaking news right there. That's definitely that's a hot take right there from Chris K. Dystopia is the holy wars of dystopia.
I mean, it won a Grammy.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I'm just
I don't know how much
I,
I
like.
value the Grammys, but still.
I mean, I think the thread is real is such a better song, and
Mm,
what I like about Fatal Illusion is it's just that it gets into that it's got that really cool rhythm in the verses, and then when it gets to the guitar solo and it has that like almost kind of like a beeping noise like a bomb's going to go off, and then it just races to the end with solos and that drum beat. It's such a cool song. That's why I like that. But Dystopia to me, I almost, not that it's a bad song, to me it's almost the poppiest song on the album. Like it's the most melodic, which is nothing. There's nothing wrong with that because I like melody and stuff like that. But
it has
I'm
amazing solos.
I'm not saying this solos are not amazing. I was just thinking that's a really hot take you got there, buddy.
I don't think so. I think a lot of people are going to agree with me.
No, to say it is the holy wars of dystopia, I don't know about that one.
I think so.
All right, well, that's good. Okay, okay. So now I get to choose a song that I'm willing to drop off of my list so that we can accommodate some other songs. Um. All right. Let's see. All right, I'm willing to drop Moto Psycho.
Okay. I think it's a cool song. Um, there's probably a couple songs on your list I would have dropped first, but um, yeah, I mean, obviously I picked a different track from that album that I like better, so fair enough.
All right, so what song are you dropping?
Um, let's see. I I think I'm gonna drop Devil's Island. Um, I love the track, but we already have two other songs from that album, and there's some other stuff I'd like to see make the list. So
Okay. All right, so now round three, we are picking a song from each other's list that we want to keep. So looking at your list, what song would I want to keep? Um, I'm going to go ahead and keep Angry Again.
nice. I love that track.
All right, so what are you going to keep off of mine?
Let's see. From your list, let's see. You know what? I'm going to go mainstream normie on this one. I'm going to go Symphony of Destruction. I didn't pick it for my list because I love the other two songs a lot more. But it is a classic, and it's it's like a super fun one live. So why not?
Okay, I can deal. I can live with that. I can live with that. All right. So now I get to pick a song from your list that I will take away and just discard with all the dirt and scum of the earth. That's a little harsh.
Okay.
um, I'm gonna drop. I'm gonna drop Tornado of Souls.
Oof. Oof. Okay. Let's see. You don't like the eye of the tornado?
I do. However, I like other songs better. And since uh you you are going to pick some other songs from albums that I'm not extremely familiar with, I don't want to like wipe out a song like that you think is the best song on an album or something like that. Like
I got you. And again, we have two other songs from that album. It's just that it's such a good album. It's
oh, exactly.
of course it's gonna have like some more songs than others. I mean, like I condensed my list down from about 30 tracks, and I had to really think about it. And then like I would have one on there and be like, do I really like this better than this other song? And I was like, I really don't. So why am I putting it there just to have something from an album? So, let's see. What do I want to pick here? Because you do have some good tracks. Um, I'm gonna pick For Closure of a Dream. I think it's a great song. Don't get me wrong, but now we do have some representation from Countdown to Extinction, and um, there's a couple I'd like to see make the list from yours more.
Okay, I can live with that. All right, so we've gone through 4 rounds, and we still have some spots open. So, what do we have? We have 9, 10, 11. We have what? Uh, we have 9 more spots left to fill. No, no,
8.
we've got 8 more spots.
Mhm.
So now it's back to song that I want to keep off of my list. Hmm. 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 I want to keep 1,000 times goodbye.
Okay. I'm not as big on that song.
I know you're not.
All right. Let's see. If I'm gonna keep one here, I'm going with Sleepwalker from United Abominations.
Sleepwalker, huh?
It's a badass track.
I have something to say about that track. I actually listened to it for the first time in forever today and realized that that riff is very similar to that from Kill the King. Like, I was like, did they just like rip themselves off completely just a few years later from that? I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. But then it goes into a different direction.
A
But
very different direction. Like, yeah, they have some similarity, but I mean, honestly, there's probably a lot of similarities that bands like will. I mean, there's I can't think of any examples at the moment, but we've addressed this many times where bands write a song and then they write another song that sounds just like that other song they wrote. And
oh yeah,
yeah, so no, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, it goes in a really different direction.
oh no, I mean it's just that it was a dun 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 dun. It was almost very very similar. Just it since it doesn't have the same drum beat, it definitely plays differently, and then it goes into a different direction altogether. But it was just like wow, this is really really similar. I'm like okay, pretty cool. All right, so now it's time for me to pick a song off my list that I am willing to drop. So I really like one song on here, and I don't know if I want to let it go, so I'm going to leave that one for now. The one thing about this whole list that I've noticed like is very very few songs on my list that are quote unquote soft or slow. Like I can sit there and say, okay, Symphony of Destruction is kind of just like a head bopper, kind of mid paced, but everything else is pretty got some quickness to it. Although Kill the King is a head bopper too, but that's got such a killer drum riff and guitar riff. Um,
I wouldn't exactly call Kill the King soft.
no, it's not. When I say soft, I mean compared to like Holy Wars or Hangar 18, where the pace is a lot quicker. I didn't mean kind of soft, but like Symphony of Destruction, it's not soft, but it's
Mhm.
slow. It's slower. Is better thing. So I'm gonna go with Public Enemy number one.
Okay.
I'll drop that one.
It was kind of a disappointing album. I remember when 13 came out and I listened to it maybe, I don't know, a couple times and then just kind of didn't for a while and tried it a few more times. And man, what was it, 13 and then Super Collider? I was feeling pretty sad by that point. I mean, Super Collider had a couple like cool riffs, but I didn't like any of the lyrics. And then Dystopia came out, and I was like, finally.
You know, the funny thing about Super Collider, and one thing that I feel, you know, I've made the claim before that Mustaine has always kind of followed in the shadow of Metallica. Um, when Metallica released the Black Album, they released Countdown. So when Metallica decided to go a little more straightforward, a little bit less heavy, Megadeth kind of went a little more quote unquote mainstream. And it continued. Euthanasia was a little bit more mainstream, and then then after Euthanasia, then came Cryptic Writings, and then Risk. So it got even more and more mainstream. And then then they found their way again, and then when Dave was supposed to go solo, he got members together, not the band. He didn't get the band together, but he had to release it as Megadeth and blah blah blah, and all they got heavier again. But for some reason, Super Collider comes up, and it's like he was trying to not go pop, but he was trying to go mainstream metal, and it didn't work at all. And it was just kind of like weak, really weak. And I'm like, wait a second, this is not. Why did someone tell him to do this? Because he's influenced so easily, and it's funny because he says he's his own guy, but for whatever reason he gets influenced by outside sources or outside influences so easily. I don't get it, but anyway, that's just me throwing out stupid opinion.
Well, I mean, producers have a big factor in what the band puts out or an artist puts out. And it was definitely the wrong direction. Like I said, there are some cool riffs on there. Like there's a track called "Don't Turn Your Back," which actually has a really cool riff. It's just you have to get past the very childish lyrics, and I was just very glad when Dystopia came out because it was Megadeth. It was unapologetically Megadeth again. And you're right. There are times where the band is very influenced, or very specifically Dave is influenced, and I think he should listen to his gut because the really good stuff is the stuff that Dave really is strong and passionate about. So
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and that's the stuff. I mean, like these last two albums was definitely, Dave's going to just do what Dave does,
yeah.
which is good.
All right. So where are we at? You just let um, Public Enemy number one go.
Right.
Correct.
So you need to
So
let
I
something
need
go.
to do the same. I'm gonna let Washington is next go. I think Sleepwalker's better, and there's a few other songs I'd like to keep instead. So let's say goodbye to Washington is Next.
Very good. I can agree with that. All right. So now I get to take one off of your list, and I'm going to go with Dread and the Fugitive Mind.
Ooh, it's the best song on that album.
In your opinion.
Yep. All right. Here's the one where you get mad at me. I am going to remove a tout le monde.
I knew you were going to do that, and I let it go for as long as possible.
I've never liked that song. I think it has its merits. I know there's multiple versions that people like. Um, I just don't like it. Never have.
Sorry. All right. So now it's time for me to pick a song off of my list that I want to keep. I'm going to go ahead and keep 99 Ways to Die. I really like that song.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Of the it's so funny they have so many tracks that were on like soundtracks and that kind of stuff. Like, uh, um, Hidden Treasures is a really good album unto itself.
Yeah, I mean, it's an EP of songs basically that were released throughout different periods, and they didn't release bad extra songs. You know, song from Beavis and Butthead, song from what was
Bill
it?
and Ted,
No, what was the other one with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Last Action Hero.
Last Action Hero. And then that stuff is you know
But
it-
they did do a song for Bill and Ted, and it's a good track.
what song is that? Oh, is that the
Go to Hell.
Oh, I thought Go to Hell was from Beavis and Butthead. And I know we just said Beavis and Butthead was the um the other one. I don't know. I'm fucking confused.
Go to Hell is the one that has the prayer in it, and then 99 Ways to Die is the one from Beavis and Butthead.
That's right.
Angry Again from Last Action Hero, and they've got Diadems from Demon Knight. Like they've got a ton of was it Breakpoint was from Super Mario Bros. That was a good song too.
Right. Yes. That's just so weird. Yeah, they picked pretty good songs that were bonus tracks somehow,
Mhm.
some way, leftovers.
I don't even think they were leftovers. I think they were pretty much all like written for those particular things. And like I think he did a damn good job with each one. And there's like the Duke Nukem theme that they did and some other stuff like so they've got a pretty good stellar record of doing like bonus or not necessarily bonus tracks but um, you know outside the album tracks.
Right.
All right, so I'm picking one to keep.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Um hmm I think I'm gonna peak. I think I'm gonna pick um In My Darkest Hour. It's a great song with good meaning behind it. It's very relatable, and it's got two meanings behind it too. Being about exes and being inspired by the death of a friend. So it's a great track.
That is correct. That is a really deep song for Dave, and it definitely shows on this album because that's the one thing I remember when So Far So Good So What came out, and I was just I mean I liked Anarchy, I liked Hook and Mouth, but I really couldn't get into the rest of the album, and going back later on and listening to In My Darkest Hour, that was one that stood out to me. but for whatever reason, I've just never been able to really dive into that album whatsoever. You know,
Yeah, I mean it's a change for sure. I mean half the band changed, and there is a difference in sound. There's a difference in mood, and that can be pretty jarring. So I totally get it, but I think going back, like I can really appreciate the album for what it is, and I just it's not one of my top favorites though. So
yeah. I mean, when you think about the fact that you put out a 34-minute album with 8 songs on it, with 8 songs on it, and one of them's a cover, so now 7 songs, and out of the 7 songs, one of them is an instrumental. I'm like, like it's I don't know. Like I know Metallica, they put Ride the Lightning and Master Puppets both had 8 songs on them, but they
Mhm.
were long songs, and Justice was 9 songs and it still was over an hour, or about an
Mm,
hour.
an album
So
doesn't have to be long to be good though.
no, but what I'm getting at is you got 34 minutes. You basically flying through this album. I almost feel like you kind of got shortchanged. To me there was a lot of, I guess, dysfunction going on in the band. I mean, I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
again,
That's just
it's not one of their top albums.
right. All right. So now I gotta take a song off my list. Correct?
Hmm.
Okay. We're getting down to the nitty gritty, and we're just talking about this album. And I don't know if it's worth putting 2 songs on from this album to keep hook and mouth, but I don't want to drop it just yet. You've already got Sleepwalker, so I may need to.
You don't have anything from United Abominations though.
All right, so we took off the song from 13, which was Public Enemy #1. Um, hmm, there's not a lot left to take off, so I'm going to take off Hook and Mouth.
Okay. Um. Hmm. So oof. Yeah, when it gets down to here, it gets tougher to pick the tracks. You know what? I'll drop This Day We Fight. I know I love it, and there's probably some Tolkien fans out there that do as well. However, it's not going to be a lot of people's, biggest choices. So, um, yeah, bummer.
All righty now. All right, so after how many spots we got left?
Two.
2. Okay, so I'm missing something here.
You're picking one of mine. I'm picking one of yours. No,
After
I'm sorry. We have three. We have three. We have three.
All right, so we're getting down to the nitty gritty. We have 3 spots left. We have 4 songs. And I'm picking one of your songs off of your list to keep. All right, so and what we have left is Sweating Bullets and Addicted to Chaos. All right. So off of your list, if I'm going to have to keep a song, I'm keeping Sweating Bullets.
Okay. It is a great track.
So now you have to pick a song off of my list you want to keep. So you've got a choice between Kick the Chair and Head Crusher.
All right. Of yours, I'm gonna kick. I'm gonna kick the chair, and I'm gonna keep Head Crusher.
All right, so you're going to keep Head Crusher.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're down to 2 songs, one on each of our lists. And so the way it works is if I go and choose, I mean, I'm supposed to choose one off of my, it's, or is it your list?
Well, there's only 2 songs left.
Right.
It's
So there's only 2
one of
songs
mine
left.
and one of yours. So
Right.
we
So,
got to
and
come to a consensus, or flip a coin or something.
Right. And let's see. You good keeping Kick the Chair or no?
Let's see.
Between these two songs, I mean, if you ask me, that I like Kick the Chair more than I like Addicted to Chaos.
Um, yeah, I'm okay with going with Kick the Chair. I mean, I think they're pretty close to equivalent between the two, but for me, Euthanasia was a huge downgrade from even from Countdown to Extinction. So, um, especially in between that album or those two albums, there were some really good bonus tracks or soundtrack tracks, and it was a step down. So, um, I think with the system has failed. I know obviously like there's the story that it's a solo album and this and that, but Chris Poland's back. The guitar work is really good. It's a great album in its own contained self. I mean, I really like Of Mice and Men. I think that's an awesome track. I didn't put it on here, but Blackmail the Universe is probably my favorite on that album. Yeah, it's good to have a track from there on there, so I'm good with that.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and drop Addicted to Chaos, and we are going to keep Kick the Chair. So that's where we're at. So we now have our 20 songs that we are now going to put into concert set list order the way we think we would like to hear it if we were to go to a Megadeth concert and they were to play all 20 of these songs. So the caveat is, though, 3 songs are going to be in the encore. Okay, so we're going to be doing 17 songs for the main set list and then 3 songs for the encore. So that's quite an extensive list. I went first in picking these songs, so you get to go first and pick the opening track.
Okay, let's think about this.
Let's think about this. What has Megadeth done for the last 30 years in terms of the first song of the show?
I mean, they probably start with the Duke Nukem theme, right?
No, not at all.
Do I want to be a basic bitch? Yeah, I guess, I guess so. I guess we'll start with Hangar 18.
Hangar 18.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that one.
You weren't?
No,
I mean, I think it's pretty basic bitch way to start.
no, I was expecting Holy Wars.
I mean, yeah, they do start it with that, but I mean, what did they start with when we went? Because I mean, I would say during I want to say during the Dying and the Dead tour, they closed with Holy Wars.
But when we went, let's take a look at this. When we went to Cynthia Woods, they opened up at Hangar 18. Okay.
Did they? Oh
Yep.
shit!
They did. Okay.
I'm good.
All right.
I may not remember much, but I remember concerts I go to.
So it just wasn't one I thought you were going to open up with Holy Wars, like I said. But hey, that's
I mean, I was thinking of it for a very different placement. So
no, and I'm sure because there's one song that is newer that I'm thinking should be placed in a very inconspicuous spot, or not inconspicuous, but a very prominent spot. Really, is what is the word I should.
conspicuous song.
Right. I should have chosen that word instead, but I didn't. I made a mistake. I erred.
You were ciphering, and you should have been deciphering. That's an inside joke.
That is an inside joke as inside gets. Inside sales and outside sales. All right. So we're going with Hangar 18. What about if we went with Dystopia as song number 2?
I think I'd be fine with that. It's not unlike, the actual album Dystopia.
Right.
So I'm good with that. Okay. So do we slow it down or do we keep it going? Let's go very old school and do mechanics.
Ooh, Mechanics. Okay, I can live with that one there. Mechanics. Dave Mustaine and Mechanics. So let's see. We've done that. So that's a speedy. That's kind of a quick song. If you're looking at the
Just
Megadeth
kind of,
version,
just
yeah, just kind of
kind
quick.
of.
Yeah, it's an understatement. So we're not quite at the middle. We're still in the beginning. So I think we're going to throw out another hit. Why don't we throw in Symphony of Destruction?
Okay. I'm fine with that. It's pretty early, but you know, um, would be very exciting to hear that early, I guess. So,
Well, the good thing is that these are all really good songs.
oh, for
So
sure, yeah. All right, let's see. We're 5 tracks in. We got 17 that we're, doing before the encore. Let's
did I
do.
did I did I miss a song? Because
What
I
do you
have
mean?
4. I have 4.
I know this is the fifth track.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You scared me there.
No, I'm talking about the placement. Like this is the 5th track, so we're. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's do In My Darkest Hour.
Okay. That sounds like a good spot to put it in.
A little slower. And we can maybe speed stuff up after that or go in a different direction.
I say we speed it up. And by doing so, we're going to go with Head Crusher.
All right. That'd wake you up.
Yep.
It's very cool opening to that track. I love the it's the wailing guitars right at the beginning. That's so cool. All right. So we're going really fast and let's keep that speed going. Go with Sleepwalker.
All right. So we've got Sleepwalker, and we kind of need to bring the pace down. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of cramped hands. So, I say we go with 99 Ways. No, not 99. Excuse me. Angry Again.
Okay. Love that track. Let's do Kill the King.
Ooh. Kill the King. All right. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so let's put in. We're literally hitting the midway point. Let's go ahead and put in 1,000 Times Goodbye.
Okay. I I have a pretty good idea of what I want to be 17. Let's see, where are we at now? We're at 10.
Number 11. We're filling 11.
Okay, so I am gonna pick 17. So hopefully I get to pick this one where it is. So let's see. I have a good idea of what I think should be in the encore, but we shall see. Let's do. We're kind of smack dab in the middle. Let's do 99 Ways to Die. Let's do all the numbered songs here.
All right, sounds good. Now, one caveat that we forgot to mention at the beginning, middle, or the start of this segment was that for this segment we have 2 vetoes each, if necessary. We've never used both vetoes, but we both have used one veto. Where if we don't like a placement of a song, we can veto the placement of the song, and we can sit there and give our argument as to why we want it later.
Yeah.
So, 99 Ways to Die is going to stay where it's at. I'm not vetoing the placement. It was just one of those things where I know we're getting closer and closer to that spot where we like, all right, what song is going to go here? And we literally start to sit there and debate which one we want in a certain spot. So, but I did want to make everyone aware that there are 2 vetoes each available to us. So, okay. So 99 Ways to Die was number 11. Essentially, we're, 8 tracks left. We got 3 encores. So we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 songs left before the end of the set. 99 Ways to Die. How about Sweating Bullets?
Yeah, I think I'm good with that.
Because that kind of slows it down. Because 99 Ways to Die is kind of a little up tempo.
Yeah, I mean, in Sweating Bullets, it's like a what's the way to put it? Like it like trots along, but it's still heavy. It's groovy. In a way. So
Right.
I love that song. So, okay. Let's do Skin of My Teeth.
Really? Skin of My Teeth in this spot, huh? What are we looking at towards the end? What are we looking at towards the end? That's a good one. Hold on a second. That may take a veto, but I don't know yet. I don't know. We're at 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I think everything that's left besides Kick the Chair, I think everything is better than Kick the Chair.
Okay.
So I think if I'm going to veto, so I would want to veto the placement of Skin of My Teeth at this point. I'd prefer to see Kick the Chair in this spot.
Okay. So are you replacing it or are you just putting it in between?
I'm replacing it.
All right. So I have to pick something new. Let's see. What should I put? The Threat is Real.
Okay.
So number
That's 14.
14 is The Threat is Real.
All right. And you get to pick number 15 again since you're the odd numbers.
Okay. Let's do Fatal Illusion then. Let's do a back-to-back dystopia goodness.
Okay, that works for me.
So what's the track before the main closer?
Okay, so the main close or the track before the main closer. Question is what is the main closer?
I have a good idea for it. We'll see. I might have to use a veto if you pick the song I'm going to pick.
We have 5 songs left. That is an interesting one because, like I said, there's one song on here that just the title alone deems it should be later. All right. Skin of My Teeth.
Okay. I'll go with that one. All right. Number 17, We'll Be Back.
Okay.
Do you know why?
Because we'll be back.
Because they're going to be back for the album.
Okay. I can live with that one. I actually because the song is pretty good. I actually was thinking I was thinking it might be like the closer, but that one's a good spot. I forgot about putting it in that spot. Skin of My Teeth.
I mean, you have to, like, for the main set closer, you have to have a great song.
Right.
And then obviously for the first and last track, I mean, really the whole encore should be great. But the first and last track are like, they're very important if you're doing a 3-song encore.
Yeah.
So,
and I've expressed that before. Like my view for like if you're doing a 3-song encore, my view is the first song should be something that just like kicks everybody in the face.
Yeah.
right? The second song could be the mid tempo or slower pace song, whatever you want to do. That's real popular. And then I always believe that you gotta close out the night by sending them home happy
Yes.
with one of the best songs that you've ever
Not
written.
not absolutely sad and like don't, don't close it with like your saddest song.
No,
Like
but you know what's funny?
like if
You know
you're
who?
Tim McGraw, don't play like don't take the girl.
But you know what's funny is though that Pearl Jam has done that throughout their entire career.
Yeah, but they're grunge.
But yeah, but they're the only band I know that does that. Like they'll open with a really slow song,
Yeah.
right? And it's just kind of one of those mood setters. Okay, I get that. You're 3 minutes in, you're kind of wallowing in the mire there. Okay, and then you come up with a banger. But they end with like these slow ballads, and I'm like, why would you end that way? I mean, I'm a fan of early Pearl Jam, but man, uh I don't know about ending a song. Like to me, you got to like when they used to end shows with "Keep on Rocking in the Free World." That shit was cool, you
Mhm.
know. But when you end it with like "Nothing Man," holy shit! What the fuck am I going home to? All right, so we're
That's
all right,
really funny.
it's true.
Leave
All
them
right.
depressed.
All right. So I'm thinking if we're gonna come out with a banger, we got to come out with "Wake Up Dead."
Absolutely. That was awesome. I mean, we'll be back. Wake Up Dead. I think it's a great combo.
Yeah, right. Just the titles alone are
Yeah.
worth the price of admission.
All right. Peace cells.
Yeah,
Track
kind
two
of
is peace.
kind of had to do that. And then Holy Wars closes out the show. There's certain songs. There's certain songs. Holy Wars is one of them. Holy Wars is one of them. There's certain songs that can either be an opener or a closer,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of like if you open with one of your best songs, it's like, oh man, what are you going to close it out with? And then there's certain bands that have that one song where it can be first or last, but they definitively have another last song, right? And that's what's cool. Like Kiss, to me, the best track to open up with is Detroit Rock City. But I love to hear that song last.
Yeah, that would easily be a good song to end the show with too.
Right.
Yeah.
And I believe they did that at one point. They used to end the show with that. Like they would put it was weird. They weren't Rock and Roll Night wasn't the last song. I think it was the last song in the main set in this one time I saw them. I'm not exactly positive. Or it could have been that Detroit Rock City was the last song on the main set. I don't know. But um when they don't open it with it, I think Creatures of the Night is like definitely a song you want to open with.
Imagine them like closing the show with Beth. Like, God.
But you see, but it's funny you say that, right? But if you want to kind of go in those same terms, it wouldn't be a bad thing if like Forever was their biggest hit and they close the show with that. That wouldn't be
It
horrible.
depends on the context and the like when it happened, right? Like now, I mean, obviously they're retired, but like say right before they retired, if that was the last song that they went out on, there could be like some meaning behind it. They're retiring, but say it's like 19 or 2000, you know.
Yeah.
And it would be like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, what is this? Yeah. So, I mean, Psycho Circus, and then we're gonna close on Forever. It's not. No.
So I'm trying to think. So I'm looking here at Setlist FM for when I saw Kiss. Yes. Oh no. So you see, they ended the main set with Detroit Rock City, and they came back with "I Want You," and they only did two songs in the encore and
Hmm.
"Rock and Roll All Night." Um, they opened the show with "I Stole Your Love," which was awesome. Um, but the one time I saw them, yeah, see, here it is. They did it, and I wasn't lying. The Hollywood Sportatorium, February 12th, 1988. They played 17 songs. They ended the main set with Rock and Roll All Night. They came back for the encore, 2 songs, Tears Are Falling, which, oof, and then they ended the show with Detroit Rock City. So I wasn't making that up.
Yeah, Tears Are
Um,
Falling's a weird one to
uh,
start an encore on. I mean, it's a cool song, but yeah,
yeah.
no.
So anyhow, for any of you guys out there that are really, really into like knowing your concerts and keeping your ticket stubs, especially some of the older people that listen to our show. If you haven't done so already, check out setlist.fm, make an account and start uploading or trying to find the concerts you've been to, because that is such a cool website in terms of cataloging all the concerts that you've been to, and you can find the history of what you've done as a youth out there. And I say that, but we still go to shows. You and I literally just went to go see. What was her name
Deftones.
again? Oh,
Deftones.
Deftones. Uh, I'm sorry for anybody out there who's a Deftones fan. I am not a Deftones fan. I don't get it. It's not my thing. Sorry. There was the best song for me was the last song they played. It was the most up tempo, and I was like, "All right, see you later. Have a nice night."
I was not at that show. I don't that's not a band that I follow. Um
I don't
yeah,
follow them either. I was given a ticket by my family member, and that's where we were at.
we're going to see Metallica, Bruce Dickinson, and Volbeat this year. Um
So far, so good.
I know almost nothing about Volbeat, so I'm gonna have to listen to some before.
They got some really cool riffs, and the guy sounds like Elvis. Okay, so that's if you want to look at it like that, that's
The
that's the way it
Honky
is.
Tonk Man.
The honky tonk man.
He's cool, he's cocky, he's bad.
All right, so those were our 20 songs. So let's review the list in order. Okay, so starting off the show, we have Hangar 18, followed by Dystopia. Song number 3 is Mechanics, going into Symphony of Destruction. Then we're going to slow it down with In My Darkest Hour, bring the speed back up with song number 6, Head Crusher, and then followed up with Sleepwalker, and then Angry Again, Kill the King, and at the midway point, 1000 Times Goodbye. Song number 11, 99 Ways to Die. 12, Sweating Bullets. 13, Kick the Chair. 14, The Threat is Real. 15, Fatal Illusion. 16, Skin of My Teeth. And closing out the main set is the song We'll Be Back. And then for the encore, we have Wake Up Dead, Peace Sells, But Who's Buying? And Holy Wars, The Punishment Due is the set closer. That is quite an awesome Megadeth show.
That's a long Megadeth show,
It is
and
a
I would
very long Megadeth show.
I would be a happy boy. So
Oh, tell me
um
about it.
so yeah, I mean there's not much on there that I can complain about. I mean, zero that I could complain about. Um, I don't know. Megadeth's one of those bands I've seen time and time and time again, and every time I've really enjoyed it. Even with a bruised rib at one show. So, yeah, my favorite acts to go see. I was lucky enough to get to see them with Children of Bottom. One of the couple times I got to see them. I've seen them with Lamb of God, I think twice, maybe once, twice. I don't know. I've never intentionally gone to see Lamb of God. I've seen them 3 times. So, but yeah, love seeing them live.
I've seen him live 4 times according to my list here. And it's funny because 2 times back in the 90s, and then 2 times more recently, I guess within the last 10 years, between 2016 and 2021. So if they come back again, I probably would like to make it a nice rounded number 5. We missed them last year. I think they were here. So if they come back
Yeah, they were
again,
at 713, and we missed that.
yeah, that would have been cool.
That
Um,
that's a great venue.
It's an awesome venue, and I would love to go see it. And that's where we're going to go see
Volbeat.
Volbeat. Is it Volbeat at the 713?
Yeah.
Yes, Volbeat at the 713. So that'll be very cool. And then we're going to see Bruce Dickinson at the House of Blues. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one.
Yep. All right. Well, that brings us to our big four for tonight. We're bringing it back. It was never meant to go away, but we just kind of got lazy about it. So tonight we're doing the big four Megadeth riffs. So it may not be on the best song. It may not be the best song, but it is what we're going to consider the big four riffs from Megadeth. So since this was your idea, why don't you go ahead and actually, you know what? Let me go first, since that way, since it was your day, you get your idea, you get to close it out. Okay. All right. So number 4 for me is the riff for "Kill the King." That is just to me is such a heavy riff. And then the fact that it plays solo by itself for the first 8 measures is so cool.
Yeah, that opening riff is great.
And then on the 8th measure or on the 9th measure, the drums kick in, and it's still just such a heavy riff. Number 3 for me, "Skin of My Teeth." Love that song, love that riff. And then just the fact that the way he's playing it throughout the song, and then he has a couple of start stops with it, that's just such a cool riff. Number 2 for me, this is a bass riff, and that is "Peace Sells, but Who's Buying?" I mean, come on. That is one of the most recognizable riffs that Megadeth have, where you start playing that bass line and all of a sudden everyone knows what's coming next. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, their best riff, and to me, I would say is their best song, and we highlighted it tonight. "Holy War's The Punishment Due." I mean, just the guitar work on that album, the guitar work on that song is absolutely incredible. Marty Friedman at his best, Dave at his best, and that riff is just amazing.
We never talk about this beforehand. We never do anything like that. So it's all spontaneous, right? And it's funny we have 3 crossovers. So my number 4 is the "Skin of My Teeth" opening riff. That basically everything until that drum hit that takes it back into the main riff. I love the main riff too, but that opening riff and it's just so freaking great. And the drum opener, oh my god, so good. My number 3 is "Wake Up Dead," the opening riff. That was my for the longest time, that's probably the first thing I thought of when I thought of Megadeth. That was my introduction to the band. That opening riff is just so good. My number 2 is "Peace Sells," the bass riff opening, same as you had. It's just iconic. And then my number 1 is "Holy War's" opening and main riff. I'm including both of them because it's just that song not only has some of their greatest solos, the trade-offs back and forth between Dave and Marty, but the actual riffs themselves are just absolutely iconic. And yeah, definitely number 1 for me.
Awesome. Well, yeah, like you said, we never talk about this ahead of time. It's one of the few things, for you guys listening out there, we don't. So it's funny. The premise of this show is that Chris and I will discuss. I like to use that word, discuss, debate, if you will, just any topic, and this is how this show started. We were sitting there at work, and I start saying something about James Hetfield, and he's and Chris would say something about Dave Mustaine, and half hour later we're still talking about it. So we have those conversations all the time, but when it comes to doing the show, we come up with our topic, we have an idea of what we want to talk about, but we don't share what we're going to say with each other. And I think maybe once or twice we've said, "Hey, I'm going to talk about such and such." you're going to talk about this, or which one do you want to talk about, kind of thing. But other than that, we've never ever in 170 some 172 up 73. This is 173. However many episodes we've done the big four, we have never previously discussed those four choices. So
Yeah.
and most people won't believe that, but that's just the way it is.
No, I hate spoilers like that. Like that's one things that like I I just can't stand. I don't even like watching movie trailers for that reason. And so like I remember when the first what was it Force Awakens was coming out, they would have the trailer, in the theaters for certain movies. I would actually leave the theater, like the actual room, and then go back in after the trailer was over because I didn't want to see it. So, like, I don't like knowing what he's going to say beforehand. And then, like, there, I will catch each other, like, when we know what the subject of an episode's going to be, we'll catch, like, us kind of talking about it beforehand. And then, like, oh, let's save this for the episode, like, not say anything. So, it is always a little more fun that way.
I think so. I think so. It's always a little bit more of a surprise, so you get the genuine reaction.
Yeah.
Sort of like the whole thing when you picked Hangar 18 first, or
Right?
or saying dystopia was the holy wars of the dystopia album. That was a real shock to me. So anyhow, well, that is our big four Megadeth riffs, and that's the end of tonight's show. Please click like or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and let us be delivered through the internet magic right to your device so that you can enjoy all of our episodes at the touch, tap, or swipe of the finger.
And don't forget you can interact with us on Facebook, Instagram, and on X, or send us an email to debatingmetal@gmail.com. YouTube viewers, click subscribe and ring the bell to be notified when we post a new show. And remember, tune into the next episode where we'll spark up another exciting metal debate. On behalf of Kenneth and myself, stay safe and always turn it up to 11.
See ya.